Okay, welcome back. I'm going to take the chicken out of the oven. Now the internal temperature of this chicken, as I'm taking it out, I pulled it out at 167. Because I really wanted it to get to 170, which normally you're going to do it at 165 and be totally happy with that. But the reason I'm doing it at 167 or you try to get to 170 is because of that rib that's in the meat, in the bone. If it was just the bone, I wouldn't be concerned, but with the rib, I'm going to go ahead and let it go a little bit longer. But I want to show you something. Look at how beautiful that is. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull that off. Notice I took the glove and I put it over the handle because invariably you're going to pull it out of the oven and then you're going to try to grab that pan without a cloth or a glove or something over it. So I'm going to take that chicken out and I want it to rest, which will bring it up to 170. I'm going to cover it with foil right on that brand clean plate along with grand clean tongs. Now I want to show you this. So I've got lots of color in this pan. I've got some fond that's kind of deglazed already just because I had that small amount of liquid in there. By the way, when I say pan roasting, typically you don't mean really a lot of fluid in there at all. You just kind of depending on the natural juices. I wanted to really work on the sauce from the beginning and that's why I opted to go that way. Now, notice the thyme stems. The garlic is nicely browned. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull the garlic out. It's already cooked. Looks pretty to be on the plate. I'm going to pull the garlics out, put them in a little cup to add back later. And then also going to grab my strainer. Go ahead and load up those. These are what we call aromatics. The shallots, the herbs that we put in, anything that we put in there to create taste is called an aromatic. And aromatics are typically the flavors released through the heating process or through the oils that we cook in. Once again, remember we have more aromatics at the end because I want to give this a fresh herb flavor at the very end. So I've got my beginnings of a pan sauce. I don't have too much oil in there at all. I have already great flavor, but it's not going to be enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing on. I'm going to go to medium-high right away. And I'm going to get that cooking. Now you got to be a little careful here. You want to reduce, but you got to be careful that you don't just reduce it to nothing. Yeah, you could actually sit here and evaporate the whole thing out. I don't really want to do that. So I've got to be a little bit careful. But I'm going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to add some wine in here. Now the reason the wine is acidic. I'm using actually a Chardonnay, but you could use probably a better one would be just a dry white wine. And I'm going to go ahead and put in here, say, 1/4 cup or so. I'm going to get it going. I'm going to go ahead and reduce it, and that's going to take the alcohol completely out of it. And then what it's going to do is it's going to bring that flavor and just reduce it down so that flavor is that much more powerful. And I'm going to reduce that down. Now I've already used some chicken stock, right? Because I put a little on the pan just to kind of let those juices fall into that from the chicken breast. And that worked out really well. Ended up with that fond. When I say deglazing, when I'm putting that wine in and saying that I'm glazing the pan, sometimes you'll have really sticky bits on the bottom of the pan. Now I don't really because I had that chicken stock in there a little bit, but I'm going to move that around, clean up the bottom of the pan. With a non-stick pan, hard to get bits to stick because it's non-stick. So I'm going to work on this. I'm going to let this reduce down. Now I'm going to let it reduce down. So I put 1/4 cup in there. I'm going to want to reduce that by half. But remember, I already had juices, but I'm going to want the whole thing to reduce by half. I may be adding a little bit more chicken stock. I may not need to. I may be adding, if I want thickness in it, I might be adding roux. A little bit about roux. First of all, it's the simplest thing in the world to make. And it's a game changer in terms of thickening sauces and adding great taste. This roux is made out of equal parts in terms of grams, equal number of grams of butter and an equal number of grams in flour. Now, you may not have a good scale to use, so you can go 1 gram of butter to 2 grams of flour. So I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon of 1 part, better said, 1 part butter to 1 part flour. So 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon or a 1/4 cup to just double it for the amount of flour, because the flour, of course, is a lot lighter. But the reason you want this is because it is fantastic for thickening those sauces. I think what I'm going to do is, even after I reduce this down, I might have enough sauce not to have to add in too much more of this. And remember, if you're using pan sauces, they can be thinner, but I still like a little bit of thickness just because it stays on the top of that chicken breast just that much longer. Okay, I'm going to reduce this down.